Let's turn our attention to other matters. The political tension in Rivers State appears to be easing, at least for now, as the Rivers State House of Assembly has suspended impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara and his deputy. The move follows days of heightened political drama that raised concerns about stability, governance, and constitutional order in the state. But while the impeachment process has been put on hold, key questions remain. Is this a genuine reconciliation effort or simply a pause in a larger power struggle? And what does it mean for governance in Rivers State going forward? Tonight, let's speak with Somi Ranta, author, political affairs analyst, for his own perspective on this relative peace. Good evening to you, Mr. Ranta. Thank you for joining me on the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. So this is the fourth time Mr. President would be intervening. This is also the fourth time he would be leaving serious national issues to attend to Rivers politics. Nigerians have called this a huge distraction, even for them. Can we now say peace has finally returned to your state? How do you feel?
Well, I think it's great news that a semblance of peace, is being witnessed in Rivers State after the intervention or the latest intervention by the president. So we pray that the main gladiators, who happen to be the FCT minister and the governor of Rivers State, in Fubara, that they will be able to collaborate and yield some ground on both sides so that we can have peace in Rivers State. And because development can only take place only in an environment and atmosphere of peace and unity. So that's what we are hoping that that will happen, as we move on.
And many say this was one of the reasons, or the major reason why Governor Fubara joined the APC, explicitly for political survival, for protection. I mean, the president may never get tired of protecting a member of his party, especially someone like Governor Fubara, who may not be able to face a man like Wike. And there are clear evidences to back that up. So even though the impeachment has been suspended, should the governor publicly address these allegations in detail, just to reassure Rivers people?
I think the governor, being the kind of person that he is, I hope he will do everything possible to ensure that the peace, lasts or comes to stay, and also knowing that the knowledge that the assembly have also dropped, following the instruction from above, the impeachment move that has been halted. I think with all that, Rivers State should be able to make progress in the coming weeks and months as we progress to the election period in 2027.
Mr. Ranta, if you were advising Governor Fubara, how would you say he should go, or he must go, in ensuring that peace returns to Rivers State? And I mean, we do not hear of any rancor with his godfather.
Well, I think the governor. I don't want to sound. How will I put it now? I don't want to sound like an interested party, but as a Rivers man, I know that the governor has the backing of the Rivers people. But where the problem is whether he has the full backing of the assembly, who are also in support of playing or dancing to the tune of music played by the FCT minister. So I urge the governor to do everything possible to ensure that this remaining 1 year, thereabout, before the election, that peace is maintained. But I will not only advise the governor, I also advise, the FCT minister to yield some ground, even as the governor too will have to use some ground, so that there will not be rancor, because every agreement that is, not exactly a win-win agreement or negotiation is bound to be observed in the breach. So if we want the agreements that is reached to hold water and stay the test of time, parties must yield ground and make some compromises here and there so that the states, could be spared of all this political turmoil that has been that's characterized the governance of Fubara's government since its inception in 2023.
So because Nigerians were clearly divided when that impeachment process kicked off for the third time, I'd like to know your stand on that. Where did you stand as at the time that impeachment process kicked off? Do you think it was a witch hunt?
Come again?
Do you accept that lawmakers have a constitutional right to hold the executive accountable?
You see, the lawmakers are supposed to work for their constituents. But it's unfortunate, in the reality on ground is that the lawmakers are not acting, to actualize and objectify the yearnings and aspirations of their constituents. But rather, they are there to take instructions from the FCT minister who told us all that he bought forms for everybody in the states. Everybody that went into went for an elective position in that state. So it's not a question of whether they are dancing to the tune of their constituents. They are dancing to the tune of music played by the FCT minister. But I urge them to please have their own mind as people, because the people that elected them, their constituents, do not envisage the fact that they will be dancing to the tune of an extraneous force, even though it's difficult to divorce such situation in Nigerian politics, especially of today. So, but let's try to manage things so that the state will not turn into another kind of violent, prone area in Nigeria, because there's a lot of issues going on insecurity going on in different parts of Nigeria. For some time now, if you notice, you will discover that since 2023, that Governor Fubara emerged and took office as governor, you will have not heard about killings, assassination, and all those kind of issues in River State. Yeah, there are political crises here and there, but it's not been that tough where people, River State used to be dubbed sometime not too far ago, as the rivers of blood and all that. But all that has not been happening now. So I pray that let everybody, become, responsible and responsive to the yearnings of the people, so that our states can move forward. There's so much to be done in the states.
Mr. Aranta, apart from the political angle, I'm sure you know there is also the constitutional angle. Clearly we've heard assembly members say Governor Fubara disregarded the rule of law and breached the constitution. But let's stay on this debacle between the governor and Nyesom Wike. We've clearly seen how this crisis has gone far beyond the power tussle. It has paralyzed governance, eroded public trust, and left about 10 million residents of the state without proper dividends of democracy. When you listen to the minister, he continues to say there is an agreement that Governor Fubara must adhere to. I don't know if you're privy to this so-called agreement, but the question Nigerians have kept asking Governor Fubara is, if you knew that it would be hard for you to keep to an agreement, why sign it? So do you think that was some level of desperation on his part?
You see, like I said earlier on, I said that every agreement that parties really want to objectify, such an agreement must have a win-win clauses. It must have a win-win. The intention must be win-win. If it is tilting heavily against the other side, then there'll be problem. So that's why I said that there should be compromises. If someone is made to agree to something like under duress, the moment you see sign of
How do you know
freedom,
it was under duress?
he will
Mr. Oranta,
dump that such an agreement.
how did you know that agreement was signed under duress?
Eh?
You said the agreement was signed under duress. I'm asking, how did you know that?
Of course, because some of those agreements, when you check the terms and conditions behind those agreements, you find that it is not, in fact, I don't want to go into all that, but I can tell you that some of those agreements, if what we are meant to, what to see or hear are really the truth of the matter, which I'm sure it cannot be too far from it, those agreements are not meant to be obeyed.
Please talk to me, Mr. Oranta. What have you heard?
Well, I heard that the governor should not travel without clearance. The governor, will not appoint anybody. The governor, so many things that those things are not, you must give a governor, we cannot diminish the office of the governor for whatever reason, especially not for political exigencies. The governor's office must be respected. The dignity of it is not about the person occupying it now, who happen to be Fubara. But we are talking about the office of the executive governor of a state. And such an office must be respected. Because we are talking about today. How about tomorrow? We don't know what will happen tomorrow. But every action taken today, will serve as precedent. For tomorrow, someone else will say, okay, it happened like this, so time. That becomes, a reference point. So that's why I say we have to be careful how we go about this thing so that we will not create a very wrong precedent, which will come to haunt us tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. That's my position.
You just talked about compromise, one that looks very hard to achieve right now. So my question is, can Rivers State truly move forward while two power centers continue to exist?
Rivers State is actually moving forward. One will wonder. In fact, it's a serious wonder that in spite of all the political turmoil going on, that the governor has maintained focus, delivering dividends of democracy. But I cannot tell you, that I can't sit down here and say that that's the best that could happen to Rivers State. No, it could have been better than this if all these tensions were not there. But I think so far, so good, because what the governor did from inception was to adopt a system, that was established by the governor of Rivers State some time ago, Chief Melford Okilo, which is called decentralization policy. So the governor set out to link all the Rivers State is made up of upland and riverine communities. There are a lot of islands, big and great ancient islands. So what the governor did is to find a way to link all those communities to the main city, Port Harcourt. And that is a great job he's doing in the state. And development is reaching to different parts of the state, both in workers' welfare, in different establishments, different areas of life. So it would have been better, no doubt. But so far, Rivers people cannot say, we've never had it this good before, to be candid to you.
All right. But quickly before I let you go, would you say Rivers elders are doing enough to mediate rather than take sides?
I think it's.
Would you say Rivers elders are doing enough to mediate between both parties rather than take sides?
Yes, Rivers elders are doing what they ought to do. But the problem again is that the man at the center of the whole thing, the FCT minister, is a man who is very, very highly opinionated and very, very willful.
All right.
And he's also a man who will not, if he has made up his mind on something, you hardly can change his mind. Maybe except the president that can change his mind. So Rivers elders have been doing their best. And I pray that this unity at this point now will be able to be so far-reaching and lasting.
All right. Thank you for speaking with us this evening. Tommy Oranta is an author, also a political affairs analyst. Thank you so much for your time. Please have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That's a package tonight and marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumo KW using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News NG. I am Olajumo KW. Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend.